start recording in Zoom, and now I switch on our live in Facebook. And at the same time, let's start in Instagram. Got it in Facebook, wonderful. Hello, hello, Instagram. Now we're again live in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere where we can. So Anthea, could you click on red circle in Instagram?
Yes.
Today it will be wonderful, wonderful evening with Anthea. What a beautiful name, Anthea. What a beautiful Greek name. Так, I sent you invitation.
Got it.
Could you turn around the camera on
Would
Instagram?
Daisy.
Wonderful. Perfect. So, good evening. I'm very happy to see you. I don't know where to look, to the phone camera or to the laptop.
Straight ahead.
Today we will talk about educational system and sovereign schools worldwide, international sovereign schools, and the nature of education in our interesting time when we want to not to be involved with educational systems in any country. Could you introduce yourself, tell us some words about yourself, and I will start asking some questions.
Yes, of course. My name is Anthea, and I was born and grew up in South Africa. For just over the last 10 years, I have been living in Cyprus, and in 2013, I became a mother. I have no formal academic training in the field of teaching. So everything that I speak about within the realm of education comes from my standpoint as a despondent mother who wishes to see a change in the consciousness of education so that we can see our children begin to truly flourish and learn. And with becoming a mother, that's how my journey started within the realm of education.
Yes, this way of motherhood teaches a lot. It's better than any university. I have degree in pedagogy and psychology, but the best university for me, it's my little ones, honestly. I wanted to talk to you about sovereign education in the light of trust and justice.
In the light of truth and
truth and justice. These are your words, and I love them. Just tell us what was your way? How did you come to sovereign education? What it means for you? And I just fell in love with your ideas when we communicated before this life. Let the world know you.
All right. So I like to stand as a testament for, if I am able to do this, then so can you. Because I was just a mother and I had no formal training. And when it comes to sovereign education, it's where I find myself today. It wasn't always that way. But in 2015, I started the first Waldorf initiative in Cyprus with a small playgroup inside of a kindergarten. And in the beginning, it was very small and it took very long to get started and get off the ground. But in that, I was able to provide for the children an alternative means for education, one which that is deeply rooted in the forces of nature. And seeing as we live in such a beautiful island, for me, it was like a no-brainer to have a Waldorf school here. So it was a bit of a shock to me to go around and to see the kindergartens that were available. And for the, not all of them, but for the most part, I mean, I, as a parent, wouldn't want to spend more than an hour in that place. How could I feel that this would be a place of learning for my child, where they could feel nurtured, loved, protected, and just feel all the warmth of life and being in a learning environment together with your friends. So through the years, I have worked with different communities. So after I had initiated the kindergarten, I merged it together with another kindergarten with a Waldorf teacher who had arrived on the island, brought here by a family to start a kindergarten. So I merged my school with his, and then I fell pregnant with my second child. And then I went on a whole different journey into birthing without medical intervention. And through this moment that I had with the birth, what I realized was that what we are giving up when we allow a third party to intervene when it comes to the relationship between a mother or a parent and a child. And these rights are unalienable. That means that they should not and must not be taken away from us. Yeah, and it's within our right to claim that back. So over the years, I've began to understand that moving forward, we really have to shift the consciousness of education. And how do we do that? And I'm not, for one thing, I'm not here to tell people what to teach their children, but what I would like to do is to help inspire the teacher artist from within to teach our children through worthy example. So we're teaching in a very different way. And it is something that resonates very well with the children of today, because children can pick up when you say one thing, but your energy is speaking something else. They don't seem to get it. And when you have a teacher who is operating within a system that is contrived, a lot of the education and learning falls short on the children. It doesn't really meet them because they are still trying to match together in their own mind, like where does what they say and how they act meet. So it's very important that when we move forward into the future and we build schools or educational centers for our children, that we come to acknowledge what I call to be the sacred pillars of education. And this would help us to realize the platform that we are stepping onto when coming into such a sacred space. Because when we go back to even before we were born, the one reality that could make sense of why we are here is that we have come here to achieve something, to grow, to develop, to expand. So therefore, life is all about education. Life is all about learning. So it is not just merely subjects, it is in everything we do, in everything we taste, in every breath we take. So we need these learning environments to be sustained through life forces in that same way. So when we begin, if we have come here to grow and develop, so at the beginning, there has to be this capacity for learning. And we are all born with this capacity to learn. But now, whose right is it? Whose right is it to put a measurement onto your capacity for learning? How can anybody decide for you from the outside on how to impact, shape, or form your capacity to learn? Which brings me to the first sacred pillar of education. And this is that we are all born noble. So we are all born sovereign beings. And as sovereign beings, you have unalienable rights to govern your life and to grow your capacities in the way you wish to grow them, with your will forces. And as a sovereign, you really do acknowledge that we are all sovereigns, and then you do not transgress the will of another individual. That's breaking a fundamental law.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So
what you
and
say,
then
it's exactly what we are talking about with Richard on our lives when we run our trainings and webinars. It's about self-empowerment, empowerment of women. A lot of systems, educational, financial, food industry, pharmaceutical, medical system, a lot of systems just take our responsibilities and our power, and it's our choice, our right, and our dignity to return this power. We are born powerful. We
yes,
can delegate, of course, but only when we know what to delegate. When
yes,
we are in power, when we inherited this from Mother Nature, from our family, from our from being human, we are able to bring up kids, to look after our old parents, not to give them, send them to retirement houses. How it's called in English? I don't know.
yeah, retirement village, retirement home.
Yeah, so we are able to look after finances. Crypto is all about this personal responsibility to
Yeah.
start with. This is start. Our start is personal responsibility, not to delegate everything, and then we are able to work, to materialize someone's dreams. No, we should materialize our own dreams, and we
Yes.
have everything for this when we are in power.
100%. You know, there comes to a point where in every facet, in every stream that has been sort of hijacked from us, it's like at that very moment you draw a line in the sand where enough is enough. But there's nobody over your shoulder who's bringing the rescue cavalry. It's like at that moment when you draw a line in the sand, you have to hold yourself to account each day for every action. And then you will become a more and more responsible individual where you will be able to respond. You will have the ability to respond in many different areas of life because you have held yourself to account in every area. But that's not to say, like you said, to go out and perform roles that are not for you to perform.
Absolutely.
Like for me, I know my role. My role is to just bring in this part of the educational, of the shift for the educational consciousness. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't end with what I do and with what I can achieve. It's all about everybody stepping in and bringing what their knowledge is to the table. And only then will we actually get the full picture on what do we teach our children when everything we've taught is kind of been adding up to be a little bit of a lie. So this is a way where we can just hold the children and have like a peaceful, safe, loving transition into building a new earth. Yeah.
Anthea, could you continue your story? Could you tell us what are other sacred pillars, as
The
you say,
sacred
of sovereign
Yeah.
education? It's
So,
very
well, the
interesting.
second one would be after the sovereignty is that we are all born with an internal pillar of justice.
Mhm.
So what I've noticed through working with children, and when you notice when they're playing and they get into a conflict, when we don't intervene, if we just provide a worthy example of coming to resolution, acknowledging that people hurt, but that we are all friends here at the end of the day, you will find that the children come to their own justice. So when we intervene in an incorrect way, then children tend to react because they feel injustice inside of them, and then they have a reaction. So when we approach sovereign education, and we realize that education is an unalienable right, that to offer a place of true learning for a child and to offer them this form of education and to teach them in the right way, to have education be more of an extension of the home and not to remove the child out of the home, to have a separation, that this is true justice, and that unalienable rights are protected by law. So this is where common law comes into it.
Common law, yeah.
This is where the common law comes into it, because you are then able to act, well, not to act really, not to act in a theater, but as a living man, as a living woman, you need not seek permission to do honest, good trade, or to have the permission of a parent to take care of their child. You need the permission only of the parent, but not from any third party, is what I'm trying to say. So when two living people have an agreement between one another, we do not need an outside structure to tell us what to do and in order to give us license to operate now. So this is where the common law court comes into it, because they offer us a structure and a protection under law to be able to educate our children in the way we see is the best way for them, is the most optimal way for them.
Anthea, it's amazing what you say. You know, as a psychologist, I can say that nowadays, these years, we live at that time when more and more children with high sensitivity are born. My kids are highly sensitive. Well, my husband and me, we are highly sensitive parents. But now we recognize this specific structure of our nerve system, of our nature, nerve nature. What is high sensitivity? Just to absorb information from the world specific way,
Yes.
more intense. It's more sounds, more music and speech, more light, more colors, more everything, more tactile feelings. Of course, for a newborn child, everything starts with sensory development. But, you know, highly sensitive kids, they have this inner, like, honesty, inner, what you call justice, very deep feeling of justice.
They have integrity. So they stand within
Yes,
their own energetic integrity. And it's very difficult to be swayed from that. It's like they can actually feel it on a physical level when
absolutely,
they stand outside of that.
absolutely, yes. It's amazing. Everything, you know, just comes together. All the little, all mosaic just makes the whole picture. What
Yeah.
you talk from the, well, let's say from angle, from point of view of sovereign education, it's exactly what I work with high sensitivity, and theraplay helps with this. Theraplay as a method when we develop relationships in games, playing with the child, you develop emotional intelligence, you develop harmonious personality with you know, the whole brain child with developed left brain and both
Right.
with the right brain. It's very important because we are very left-brained people after, thanks to our educational systems, wherever we were born, in
Yeah.
every school, we were very left-brained. Sorry, I interrupt again. What what you talk, it just meets my values so much, resonates with my heart
Yes.
so much. Well, that's why we decided to come to this
I mean,
life.
that's the whole thing about this um, about a more conscious way of education, and also with the structure and the protection that is provided by the common law court, and what sovereign education really is. Like, because sovereign education is not here to tell you what to teach your children, because Anna, you know what is best for you.
Absolutely,
You know what is best for your children. That's why you're
absolutely.
their mom.
Yeah.
So you can choose any pedagogy that you wish. You can take from the parts that resonate most with you from all the different forms of education, and then you implement it in the way of acknowledging and knowing the sacred pillars of education, and then also to be gentle with yourself. So, I
Absolutely.
mean, the journey was not easy. It's not easy because as a parent, when we go to teach our children ourselves, we have to go through such an unlearning, deconstructing process before we can come to them with the eyes and the wonderment for learning. So this also then brings me into when education is true. When education is true, this will solve a lot of problems and challenges that we have facing our youth today. Because by the time the child gets to the age where they believe they find their own truth, the world is true, I know what my truth is, I know who I am. By the time they get to that age of puberty and maturity, our children are suffering from an identity crisis because we have not nurtured them in the right way. We have impacted them from the outside a lot. It's been a bombardment, and we have formed and shaped the identity of them that is like a shell around them. So this is why by the time they get to 13, 14, a lot of our youth are going through a huge identity crisis, and they become rebellious. They start to push back because they realize everything's a lie. And they start to push back on their parents. They start to push back on everything. So this is why I believe that, we really do need to heal this. We need to heal this because we are borrowing the future. I cannot remember the lady's name right now who came up with this quote. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. I will find the name and I will share it on my page.
Mhm.
But she says, as parents or as adults, we must understand that we are borrowing the future from our children. So that means every decision, every choice that you are making today is very, very important. And we have a unique opportunity in the times that we are facing where the guard has been shaken quite a lot. So we have this opportunity where we can create a shift and create a change to offer our children education that does do them justice. Yeah. So that when they grow up,
Richard,
they know who they are.
very, very important. Richard came back with my little ones. They went to the shop.
Yeah.
So let's say come to the final stage of our life. But I want to listen about the third, the last sacred.
Well, this is basically them.
Basically, what
So,
you said.
yes, yes. I think I numbered them incorrectly, which I do apologize for, but it is the capacity to learn. We are born sovereign, noble beings, and
Absolutely, yes.
we all have an internal pillar of justice, and the law offers us a remedy to be able to educate our children in the way that we feel best. So we're not pushing back on any kind of system. We are just recreating something over here while they're busy messing it up over there. So we'll just keep doing what's right over here. And as Baha'u'llah says, justice is a messenger of joy for thee. So we must know that justice is a gift. It's a gift for us to behold, and we should not take it for advantage. We should not take advantage of it. Yeah.
I love every word that you say. And
Thank you.
I like how you say that sovereign education, it's not what to teach. It's not about this at all. It's about how to support them. It's how to how to be even. To continue this thought. It's not to be guilty about their behavior, not to jump to the feeling of guilt if something goes wrong as you think. But just to support, to try to accept, to understand, and of course to trust yourself, to trust your children. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
As a mom, I can say that it's very difficult to we are very well, I don't know, restricted by our family scenarios. We all know what we should do, when, how long, with whom, in what combination, what to eat, from what plate. We know everything, and just to switch off this knowledge and to observe more, to trust their inner justice, especially if your children are highly sensitive.
Yeah, and that they will always come back and find themselves, as long as you don't fly off and meet them where they're at in those moments, that you constantly hold like a center, so
Absolutely,
that at any
yes.
given moment they have a clear representation of where to come back to energetically, where they can come back into balance in themselves. Yes, and the hardest part as a parent, I don't know, for me personally, is to not fly off when they fly off. That you take a moment and you hold it, and that you realize this too will pass, and it is not who they are. They are processing something, and we just need to hold the platform open and ready for them to come back to. Because
Absolutely.
otherwise they don't have any kind of an example, a worthy example of where they need to be, which is in their best and most optimal platform for them, you know.
Absolutely. I see that some moms in Instagram were listening to us, but maybe because of internet connection, maybe, I don't know, what are the causes. Now there are no questions, but
That's fine.
everyone who will listen us in recording, everyone who find our values familiar with your ones, please write a comment, ask some questions. If you want to ask any question, me and Anthea, we will be happy. We are ready to answer. Let's say it's not the last time when we meet. I will be happy.
We have a lot more that we wish to share. Right now, we have a project, an initiative going on in Cyprus. We are looking at creating the first sovereign education center, which would be open to invite families around. We will also be offering online courses and tutorials on how we can introduce different topics to our children. So how do we approach when we introduce reading? How do we approach it when we introduce writing? How do we introduce painting to our children for the first time? All of these things we can offer support on because I didn't have anybody to fall back on when I was working, and I know what it can be like. At the end of the day, you just need somebody to process with, you know, and to know that everything's okay, you are not broken, you can do this. And in the hopes of creating the Sovereign Educational Center, what we hope to achieve is that it opens up the potentiality for more parents who have the same desire and who are willing to take the action to be able to start a sovereign school of their own, wherever they are in the world, receiving the support, using the template, but putting in their own special mix to it. So yeah, that's what we would be doing moving forward. And this will definitely not be the last time that we speak, Anna.
Yes. You know, I remember, no, even now, a lot of moms who want to go to homeschooling, they ask me, what about socializing? How your children communicate with other kids? And my story, I can always say that thanks to home education, social net, you know, just exploded like synapses in our brain, like neuron net with the first breath. when a child makes first breath, just whew, this is what happened with me and my family. We found so many people worldwide. We started home education in England when we lived there, but contacts not only in England, not only in Cyprus, but worldwide. And it's such a international and I don't know, common for all humans who come to the same conclusions like we do. Yes. So I'm very happy that I got acquainted with you in Cyprus, that I know about your sovereign school, and let's say in future it will be big project that I support with my family, and with lots. I'm sure that lots of families will support this idea and materialization of this idea, not only idea.
Yeah.
But for now, let's say
Bonne nuit.
bonne nuit, good night, доброй ночи, in all languages. I wish everyone who are listening to us all the best. Ask the questions, and
we'll be happy to answer. Thank you, Anna, very much for having me today. This was one of the first times where I've been visible, and I've just started an Instagram account thanks to the help of Anna today. Took a while. No photos just as yet, but if anybody would like to get in touch with me personally, please get in touch with Anna and she will direct you my way. But yes, I'm sure you will see me on this page. We would love to do some more collaborations in the future. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hope you have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Thank you. I stop recording in Zoom, in Facebook, and also